In this video, we will talk about primitives and literals. In the last video, we saw that an expression evaluates to a value. There are two kinds of values, primitives and references. In this video, we will focus on the simplest possible expressions that evaluate to primitive values. They are called primitive literals. A primitive literal is a series of characters written by a programmer that always evaluates to the same primitive value. The difference between a primitive literal and a primitive value is like the difference between a word and what the word represents. The 5 types of primitive literals are number, boolean, string, null, and undefined. Here are 3 examples of number literals. There are only 2 boolean literals, true and false. Here are 3 examples of string literals. All 3 string literals represent the same value. When you're writing string literals, choose the notation you prefer. Null always evaluates to the same value. The meaning programmers attribute to this value depends on the context. Undefined is technically not a literal, but it's easier to think of it as a literal. Undefined also always evaluates to the same value. As a programmer, you will sometimes have the choice between using undefined and null. That choice is more of an art than a science. In this video, you learned about the simplest possible expressions, literals. We covered all the primitive literal types. And by doing so, we also covered all the primitive value types. Primitive literals appear in every programming language, and every skilled programmer has memorized them.